Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Diablo. We are on, let's see here, I don't even remember, I think this is episode 27? I'm going to double check real quick because I can do that and then we'll actually start moving and playing the damn game, right? Let's see. Yeah, this is episode 27 of Let's Play Diablo. We are on level 14, just continuing exactly from where we left off to the last game, and in theory, can't prove this, but in theory this should be 2 more episodes after this. 3 at the most. So we are very, very close to being done with this game. And I talked about it, so I don't need to talk about it again. Ooh, yes, an elixir of vitality. Alright. I love elixirs of vitality. And 302, 304. More health. Can't complain about that, right? But yeah, Godzilla comes out tomorrow and I'm so freaking pumped, and I need to see this movie, dude. You have no idea how badly I need to see it. But other good news, the Death album that I've been waiting for, their second album, Leprosy, the remastered version of it that Relapse Records did. I had mentioned in a previous episode that I ordered the picture disc version of it, and that it was taking a lot longer than it should to come in the mail. Well, it came in the mail today, so I got that along with my t-shirt, which I'm wearing right now. So I'm sporting a Death t-shirt now, which is awesome, because I'm a huge fan of them and of their music, and I don't think they have a bad song. And Leprosy is a great death metal. I mean, it's timeless death metal classic. Really is. And if you like extreme forms of metal and stuff, that is definitely one that you should check out. If you're not into death metal, you probably won't like it. And honestly, I am picky about death metal. If you know anything about me, you know I eat, sleep, and breathe metal. But I've always been kind of picky about death metal, and it's because a lot of death metal just has like this boring, generic sounding growl. At least I think it does. But it's just like this very deep and guttural, and it just, I'm like, it sounds like every other death metal band. So a death metal band really has to stand out to me. But, I mean, truthfully, Death was writing music. Really, I mean, they started writing music before death metal even was a thing. They are one of the reasons that the genre as a whole exists. Them and Possessed with their album Seven Churches, and Necrophagia with their first album. And Necrophagia, everyone forgets about them, and I don't know why. Probably because they didn't release an album for a long freaking time until, pick that up and sell it, until Phil Anselmo, like, they released one album called Seasons of the Dead, and it was pretty great. And then I think they broke up or something. And then Phil Anselmo, who was the lead singer of Pantera, was a big fan of them and that album. And he found the lead singer of that band, whose name is Killjoy, and he was like, I bet I could write a Necrophagia album. And he did, and it was called Holocausto de la Muerte, I think. Holocaust of the Dead is what it stands for. It's in Spanish, but it's pretty good, and it really kind of kick-started their career again. But I think when the band started really doing something special was after the Phil Anselmo era. Not that I don't appreciate the Phil Anselmo era. I'm a huge Phil Anselmo fan. I love Pantera, I love Down, I love Superjoint Ritual, Arson Anthem's really cool. got a bunch of other projects that he's done over the years. Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals is really good. But although I think that one's probably a bit polarizing among fans because it's incredibly sludgy and at times it kind of sounds like if Meshuggah were to attempt to write an I Hate God album. That's kind of what it sounds like to me, at least. And I like it. I like it a lot. I like both of those bands, so figures I'd like it. And I like Phil Anselmo. Anyway, he convinced them to do that. He convinced Killjoy to reform the band and start recording again. And Phil Anselmo, they released a few EPs and an album together, and then they kind of went their own separate ways after doing a bunch of other projects as well, like Viking Crown, which is basically Phil Anselmo and his wife at the time and Killjoy would get drunk in his barn, in Phil Anselmo's barn that he turned into a recording studio. And then they would play black metal. And that's basically what it is, and that's what it sounds like. So, even though I kind of like it, I have to like step back and admit it pretty much sucks, you know? But, yeah. Then they reformed again with a brand new lineup and changed their sound a third time, and it's my favorite sound they've ever had. They don't sound like any other. They sound death metal, but they do not sound like any other death metal album or band that you've ever heard before. So, especially with Killjoy's vocals, it really stands out amongst the crowd, and I love it for that. Anyway, back to death and the creation of death metal. Hellhammer, who became Celtic Frost when they were still just a local band in Switzerland before they got signed, they were running a fanzine, whatever it was, like fan magazine focused on heavy metal. And in that magazine was actually called Death Metal. And when they were signed by Noise Records, Noise thought that name sounded cool, so they were included. They used that and used that name for a compilation album that they put a couple of demo tracks from Hellhammer on. And the funny thing about that compilation album is it's called Death Metal, and it includes exactly 0 death metal. It's got like Running Wild on it. I think it's got Halloween and one other one that I can't remember, and Hellhammer. And it's got 2 tracks from each band, and I haven't heard it. I would love to get my hands on it, but it's kind of rare and expensive. And that was really kind of the first instance of death metal being used to describe a genre. And then I think shit, what are they called? Possess, I think they used, they had a song that was actually called Death Metal as well. Might have been named after the compilation album, but I don't know. But either way, those two factors led to the genre that they were playing being called death metal. And the thing is that they released their first album in 1985, but both Necrophagia and Boot Chest, both Necrophagia and Death released their first albums in 1987. Necrophagia was first in like February or something, and Death was in May. It was Scream Bloody Gore was Death's album, and it was a very, very good one. A lot of people will argue that Possessed's first album isn't death metal, but it's instrumental in creating it. But regardless, all three of those bands started releasing material in 1984. So that was when their first demos came out. Which Necrophagia's first demo was Death is Fun. Possessed's first demo is, I'll be damned if I remember what their first demo was called, but then Death's first demo is called Death by Metal, and that's actually uploaded to my YouTube channel that I linked back a few videos ago, and you can give that a listen over there if you want. But all three of those, I think, are unmistakably death metal sounding, so it's up for grabs as to who actually invented it. But the fanzine and the compilation, the fanzine existed before that because that dates back to like 83. And the compilation, I think, was sometime in early 84. I'd have to double check. But I'm pretty sure the compilation beat Possessed to the punch on having something called death metal. Anyway, we are done with this episode. Let's go down to level 15, and I will quit rambling about heavy metal. Go see Godzilla tomorrow. Go see Godzilla. I want this movie to succeed. It's got a, like, 80% or something on the tomato meter. It is certified fresh. Evidently, Bryan Cranston is great in it, and the human element is great. The human conflict is supposed to be entertaining to watch and cool. And it's supposed to just be a great flick. So, go support this movie. I want it to succeed so we can get more in the future. I want another cycle of Godzilla movies. Thank you everybody for watching this episode of Let's Play Diablo. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. It would be greatly appreciated. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks everybody. Bye.